After 8 weeks of Prime rotations and 2 weeks last chance to top it all off, we are here to thank you for participating in the Prime Resurgence. This was our first attempt at a very ambitious unvaulting event that, after some bumps in the road, had ultimately turned out to be a very successful way for us to provide access to vaulted content. While the event did extremely well, it is time to review the details historically now that it's over to answer the question, what is the future of Prime Resurgence? While important next step decisions are being made, the following covers what you can expect in terms of Prime Vault content in the wake of Prime Resurgence. Do not disrupt the player accessibility to vaulted content, as traditional Prime Vault will be returning in February. In traditional Prime Vault fashion, packs will be available through the in-game market and stores on consoles, and the vaulted relics will be added to the drop tables. More details on specifics to come. Varzia still resides in Maru's Bazaar with a selection of wares. You may choose to purchase the items listed below from her shop with the remaining Aya or Regal Aya you may have. Items available for Aya include the Vault Prime, Valkyr Prime, and Nyx Prime relics. You may also choose to purchase 5 Decades, the APC Andana, the Spectacular License Skin, or the Necroloid Bundle. On the other hand, items available for Regal Aya include the Vault Prime, as well as the Uranata Prime, Valkyr Prime, and Nyx Prime. There's also a selection of Prime weapons, including the Cernos Prime, Venka Prime, Cinder Prime, Haiku Prime, Burston Prime, Fang Prime, Lex Prime, and Bratton Prime. Next on the list, we have primed accessories that you may fancy as well. We have the Edo Prime Armor, Kazeru Prime Siandana, the Tartarus Prime Armor Set, Vala Prime Sagatra, Lyset Prime Skin, as well as the Saita Prime Suit. The offerings also include the past Prime gaming gear, such as the Vestapa Prime Siandana, Spectaca Prime Siandana, Spectaca Prime Sagatra, Filgri Prime Lyset Decoration, Static Reactor Prime Sigil, Avia Prime Armor Set, Avia Prime Siandana, and the Vias Operator Prime accessories. It is also worth mentioning that all of the Prime Noggles that were available during the rotations will be available for purchase too. All of the above were available during the rotations and were listed in our original items available after Prime Resurgence, with the exception of the Vault Prime, Nyx Prime, and Valkyr Prime relics, weapons, and accessories. Since these Warframe's relics are permanently unvaulted and obtainable via gameplay, it only made sense for the rest of their collection to remain available through Varzia. Prime Resurgence brought love first for vaulted content, so we're continuing the trend with the inclusion of primed accessories outside of the event and traditional Prime Vaults. During this in-turn time, we'll not be adding any new items to Varzia's shop. Since Aya and Regal Aya are no longer obtainable, there should be no item gatekeeping for players who do not have any stock left over. A hotfix will be going out on all platforms tomorrow, January 25th, to replace Aya with the Nyx Prime and Rhino Prime relics in the drop tables. Regal Aya packs will also be retired at the time that the event comes to a close. For a Nintendo Switch to know, these packs will still be in the Nintendo eShop until January 27th, due to Nintendo Store rotation scheduling. Any Regal Aya purchases made post-event can still be used in Varzia's shop, keeping in mind that the items available for purchase will have switched over to a new setup as disclosed above. If you choose, any remaining Aya can be used in Varzia's post-event shop as listed above, or can be held onto for potential Prime Vault efforts. While the future of Prime Resurgence is still being determined, priority in any instance will be to provide options that appropriately meet player expectations for premium purchases. It is worth reiterating before we sign off that the nature of Prime Resurgence was wholly experimental. We wanted to give players an alternative to Prime Vault and ultimately increase access to Prime gear, and that required much risk consideration and community contribution in the early stages and launch of the event to get it right. So thank you for continuing to be an integral part of the development process and success of endeavors such as these. We'll check back in with you for tomorrow's hotfix.